race fans. It is right now uh, August 26, 2023. This is the Racing Statistics YouTube channel, and you're watching the Dutch Grand Prix through Practice 3, and this is Grash coming to you live. Liam Lawson is out on track. He is out there with Max Verstappen, the only two on track right now on a wet surface. Again, that's the latest news. Dan Ricciardo basically broke his hand trying to avoid crashing directly into the fellow Aussie, uh, Oscar Piastri, and yeah, we get a New Zealander in for him, and it's wet. It is only practice before qualification. Yeah, you just can't write this story, can you? This is like crazy. So yeah, a lot of you like gaming 2196 just says I feel far retarded. We all feel far like really. With your red flag luggage, should we call you Crash? No, because that's a character from PlayStation. Um, my number right now is the magic number is 5. Um, that might get broken today if people don't go on track. It looks clear. It looks like it rained on the track. I mean, obviously, but it's sunny out. So this is one of those we're gonna have to go minute by minute on the track. Joe Norris and Pulaski, Oscar look like they're getting ready to go on track right now. Again, I want to thank you all. There's about 1,216 watching right now. 150 when you liked right now. Thank you for showing up and to the drama, which is right now. Again, we're following Lawson in that car. This looks like a flying lap for him right now. And he is on again, Lawson, and it looks like everyone's on a wet tire right now. Lawson's definitely on a wet tire. Could it rain before quality according to the forecast? Need to bring up the forecast. That's a good question. Good weather. So a lot of people on out laps right now. So periods of rain will continue for the next 51 basically through the rest of this forecast. Yeah. So Verstappen, not sure what just happened a few minutes ago. He just lost some, lost grip, lost the back end of his car. Skidded. Went off track, but was able to recover the car. Didn't go into the barriers and whatnot, but did eat up some dirt and some grass. Max not down. He recovered the car. He's fine. But he's gone back to the garage. Obviously, they need to take a check after doing a. Lawson on the radio saying it's raining quite a lot right now, which is it's going to be on and off. Like part of the track is sunny, part of the track has clouds over it. All of it is wet. Ooh, split screen of onboard of Perez and a shot of Norris is going around. Norris is set a 130 0.7. We were looking at 111s yesterday in the dry. Max is set at 127, like 14 seconds off the pace from yesterday. More, maybe actually more, like 15, 16 seconds. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Perez is returning to the pits. Norris went out on intermediates. So that's. Oh, Perez went across the gravel. That's what they're showing in replay. So that's why he's come back in the pits. They're going to have to check underneath that floor. So one of the things about the cars this year, particularly from last year, is that the underside of those cars are extremely important. And so going over the gravel like that in any shape or form will do damage to the basically essentially a wind tunnel underneath the car that's helping with ground force effect. So yeah, going over gravel is like really bad now with these cars. Wouldn't have been much of a difference 2 years ago, but hugely important now. I don't understand why half of them haven't started yet because it's raining. A lot of them are just some, and they're kind of like trying to keep the traffic down by doing this. So we're now getting about first 13 have been on track at some point. Hamilton is starting an out lap, and ultimately is basically like Ferrari hasn't gone out. Haas hasn't gone out yet. Sonoda and a couple other half of the other teams have gone out, and mostly it's because for the race it doesn't look like it's. There's probably not data to be gained to have both cars out, and it is. Ooh, we have a yellow flag. So Williams going very close to the edge. It's still on track. Wheels are off, but still on. So yellow flag in sector 1. That's a long yellow. Oh, there we go. Red flag. One of the Haas's it has spun around backwards into the barrier, and it's Kevin Magnussen. Magic number's now 6. For those who are watching right now, those who are only listening, there is a little counter on the screen right now, and it's the number of red flag sessions in a row that I have been happening to broadcasting. That magic number is now 6. That needs to be updated. My friend at Racing Statistics. Magnussen is getting out of the car. He looks okay. Obviously, yesterday was his teammate Hulkenberg. So yeah, no, he comes around the banking and loses the back end. Comes around the banking and that banking gets some spray in his face. Okay, he's on it. Yep, and then goes around. So there's damage to the car. It is the front left tire that has collapsed. The wing has broken off into pieces. That's not a big deal because that's just a nose cone change. The tire will be. It's basically the car is designed to break off in that way. So it will be I mean, he will be out of the session most likely. Um, I don't see him return. It'd be a miracle if he returned, but he would be back. He'd be back basically for qualifications. RS, I'm looking at you guys right now. RS is saying, "I want wooden shoes on the screen." No, no, sir. Do not want you throwing those wooden shoes into the machinery. Dr. Terran was saying both Haas and AT AlphaTauri would like a season restart. Josh and Gaming 2196 are giving me red flags. Mayor Singh saying, "Well done, K Meg. Well done indeed, K Meg. You have given me my red flag for this session." Natalie Cole is asking red flag, what happened? K Mag basically went around one of the bank curves and lost it at the end of the curve. Spun around and took out his front left tire and the wing in that area. Venti versus has got fighting words here saying that yellow Crocs are better. No, Crocs are not better. Those are fighting words. So yeah, we are now in a red flag scenario. K Mag binned it on one of the bank curves, turn 3, binned it, went around in circles, well, a circle, and crashed it into the wall. Right now, they're showing the total points between Russell and Leclerc as they went across the different rounds. They both are at 99. Nowhere near Max Verstappen at all, but it's just interesting that those two particular car teams have. I would say Leclerc is their number 1 driver and Russell is their number 2 driver. You know, one has no world champions, the other has 7. And then on the other team, I would put Leclerc is definitely their number 1 driver. No, Max, it was not today. Yeah, we're not even 15 minutes into the session and we've had a crash. Yeah, Max did swerve, but he didn't bin it. He was not lucky to give me my number 6 counter for this session. So I'm still on a roll. That's all. That's the streak continues. Texas, is anyone singing in the rain? Apparently I am. Basically, I am with another red flag. For those who arrived, so we are about 15 minutes into the session already. Welcome to the Racing 60 YouTube channel. This is Crash talking to you, bringing you live coverage of the Dutch Free Prix practice. We've just had K-Mag bin it on wet tires on turn 3. He will be out of the session. We have a red flag. We're waiting to get the track cleared up. Earlier in the session, we saw Max in the same area lose some grip, but recover the car safely. We've seen other people. I saw. I know Lando going around a little bit of wiggleness in the back of the car. Does Lando have floor damage? I don't think so. but it's something that will be checked. Yeah, well, race control now saying that it will resume in about a minute, so 11:47 local time. That's about a minute from now. I want to thank the local, a lot of the regulars who are in chat right now. Thank you guys for showing up. For those of you who are new, thank you for showing up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We've got a great community. We do sessions for all the practices, sprint race, sprint quali, and the race itself. Obviously, this week we do not have the sprint. If we could have more chaos, if that was more chaos. We also do have a Discord channel, and we again yesterday we were very active as news after free practice 2 came out with Daniel Ricciardo. So what's interesting? So what is interesting here is that Daniel Ricciardo has a fracture of the metacarpal, which is basically he broke his hand. Looking online, the lowest amount of time to basically recover from that type of injury was 4 weeks. Now we're talking about athletes here, so this could be a lot faster. Push, and they'll definitely push harder and be back. I mean, like, now granted, was it his wrist? It was basically it was basically the metacarpal. Is basically what was the term used on an F1 website. So yeah, basically he'll be out about a month. I'm going to bring up the F1 website one more time. So obviously this weekend is out of the question. Next weekend, Italy is most likely out of the question as well. Singapore is the next race after that. That's September 17th. Probably way too early. Now we're looking at Japan on the 24th. That is that is probably 50-50. He's most likely going to be back by Qatar, which is October 8th. But that could still be too soon. If it doesn't heal well, doesn't heal fast. I mean that it's a possibility he'll be back. You know, Japan, maybe it's not likely. Qatar, more likely, but not definite. But the race after that is the United States, the Austin Grand Prix. Sorry, the American Grand Prix at COTA, which is in Austin, and that's a race that Daniel loves. So he will definitely, by the 22nd, he should be back. At that point, he should be back. So he'll definitely be back by by Austin. Qatar, Japan, we'll see if he'll be back. What's interesting is Lawson is right now racing, well as being the reserve driver, he races in Super Formula, which is Japan's highest open wheel seater category. And they've got 9 races. They've got seven sets weekends with 9 races. The last weekend happens to be at Suzuka with 2 races, and that would be over the same weekend of the Mexican Grand Prix. So Daniel Ricciardo was definitely. What's interesting is that September 24th is Japan at Suzuka. F1 is at Suzuka. And it's very much in Lawson's benefit to race Suzuka in F1 in September before the month after that has his doubleheader weekend to finish off Super Formula. So there's a lot of interesting little threads going on. And we are now back to green flags. Roddy, just refresh the map. The map is working for me right now. I'm looking for it. I think someone in chat misunderstood me. He will not miss out on the United States. It would be something. It would be something huge if he were to miss out the um, on the American Grand Prix. Yellow flag is one of the Ferraris go off track, but they're still moving. So, which they've managed to turn themselves. Yeah, it's Charles Leclerc. And he misses the turn completely for turn one. Um, stops, goes off the service road, and the fallout for turn one. As we've done this, Norris has gone P2 with a 126.725, though Max has now taken that with a 125.197. I know Norris is on an intermediate and Max is on a intermediate as well. Looking at other times, Charles Leclerc has done a 127. Hulkenberg did a 128. Bosio, 128. Tsunoda, Gasly, 129 for an Albon. Hamilton, 130s. Again, these are our wet times. Max is 14 seconds lower on an intermediate tire than he was on a soft tire yesterday. Google's asking, will Hamilton crash out? No, but K-Mag has already. Yeah, Wrench, it is raining. It's raining on and off across the track. Will Chloe be wet? That's a good question. Let me bring up the forecast. You see. Get an hourly forecast. And when is quality? Quality's going to be at 1600. So 4 o'clock. So it looks like locally 4 p.m. There's a 20% chance of rain. So it could is a potential. It's a lower chance of rain than it is right now, where it is raining and making it interesting. And which AlphaTauri speaks itself? That is Zhou Jian Yu. And where are we looking at? Crane is already red flag out again, and we're back. The crane is already out to retrieve the car. So in the time it took me to look up the weather report, Zhou Jian Yu has where turn 13. Yeah, that was that final banking. Oh boy. Where are we having fun yet, everyone? No, this does not count towards the counter because we've already had a red flag this session. But he's joined the reasons for having a red flag in a session today. Oh, Peter Gasly going over the gravel, missing that. There's a hairpin turn, and if you don't get that curve right, you go across gravel. Max did it yesterday. A couple other people did it yesterday. Excuse me. So as we Joe looks like he's out of this car. He's doing the walk of shame, I guess. It is a brisk wind out there too, as well. No, the Dutch Grand Prix isn't as dangerous as Spa. Spa has some. When the rain comes down on Spa, it becomes extremely dangerous, and Spa needs to evolve. I mean, there's no two. Spa needs to change and evolve, or it's going to be basically they're going to have to stop racing there. Bottom line. I mean, we've had two deaths within what 5 years, 3 years. That's one too many, and one of those deaths happened this year. So let's be clear. Um, who's doing commentary tomorrow? As most like as Ryan. He is, I believe, he is taking up um, qualification this afternoon as well, or this morning as it is for me. Well, we have time to wait. We are about halfway through this session. You are listening to the YouTube channel of Racing Statistics, and it is the free practice three watch along, free practice three for the Dutch Grand Prix. We have two red flags. K Meg start gave us one within under 10 minutes, and then Joe basically just gave us our second red flag of the session. It is wet. It is slippery and slidey all over the place right now. Max Verstappen's out of his car. It's actually partly getting out of his track suit, his driving suit. So yeah, it's not gonna be. I mean, um, of the people who are gonna be out, Lawson is probably gonna be the one who's gonna be out when that goes green because he needs the time on track. But he's not gonna be pushing the car. It's getting more acclimated to the track. For me right now, it's 1 minute to 5 a.m. and we've already had two red flags. Is practice the worst practice I've seen this season? Oh, I know this is one of the worst. I know I've had two red flags in a session before. I'm trying to think if I had three in one session. Of course, there was the session that there was the session at the Canadian Grand Prix where I believe Charles Leclerc, I think it was Charles, crashed, and then the stewards went, "Oh no, our cameras are bored," and basically we didn't run again for the rest of that session. So yeah, I mean that's in contention of worst session. Being asked about the NFL, which is American football, are you excited for the NFL starting again next season in 2 weeks? No, I'm a New England Patriots fan, people, and I'm not happy. I'm not. We're not in a good place, man. And we're in a really tough division. For those who don't know, the Patriots are in the NFL AFC East division. We have the Buffalo Bills. We have the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets or the New Jersey Jets, depending on how you call them. And yeah, Bills are the best in our division. They're really good. If Miami is really good if Tua is healthy, and the Jets just got Aaron Rodgers out of a trade. So our division's really tough. Yeah, it went from being a tomato can division where the Patriots were top of the division and it wasn't a big deal to they've gotten really tough, really hard, really quickly. People who are arriving right now, basically, we've had two red flags. First one was K Meg in the first 10 minutes, and we got Joe beat his car in the gravel about 5 minutes ago. If you got questions in chat, just drop them at me, so my name will show up, and we'll highlight so I'll see it better. I'm looking through right now. Lewis Cipher says Patriots have won enough. No, we need to win more. Belichick needs to win a couple more. We need a few more seasons with Belichick. He's out. He's out to get the top spot for total number of wins by a coach. So he's going to be around for a couple seasons, my friend. And he's also the general manager as well of the team. So there's that too. Looking through right now, seeing if there's any questions. How hurt is Ricardo? Is he out for the rest of the season? No, he's not out for the rest of the season. He's out for at least 4 weeks at a minimum. What's about the bright rookie? I'm not sure which rookie. I mean, Lawson is the reserve driver for the Red Bull AlphaTauri reserve driver. Now that now that Ricardo has stepped into Deviz's car, he's now the reserve driver. And now the driver moving forward. He is basically he is one of the juniors in the Red Bull Academy. Basically, not he was in F2 last year. He came out third. He's now driving in Super Formula, which is Japan's, and we've now just gone to green flag. I believe the Williams is out front first, as is practice with them. I think Ferrari is out next. In chat, he is the reserve driver. That is pretty much what we're talking about right now. So one of the rules that I've read is that teams are allowed to only have use only 4 drivers in a season. And this gets interesting because I can't find anything else regarding when drivers are sick, what and what not. If something were to happen to Yuki or to Lawson right now, we would need to bring back the freeze. Is that basically how I'm reading the rule? And I'm looking for why I'm wrong. And I can't find anything why I'm wrong at this point. You like relax? I had to wake up 4 a.m. just to see this. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. What difference does it makes who drives? It's a rule. It's a F1 rule from the it's an F1 rule that's in the rule book, and is a obscure rule that has implications right now because, well, one team has used 4 drivers in a season. That is different. I can't tell you when another team had to use 4 drivers in this way. Yellow flag. Who is this? It's another Ferrari driver. Is it Charles or is it? we can't tell which car. It's one of the Ferraris. They went off Science. So Science did the same thing as Charles. He just he did it more elegantly and didn't stop. Um, yeah, basically at turn one, there's a runoff area, and he basically took the runoff and took the little detour around that first turn. What are the track conditions right now? It is very wet. It's raining. It will be raining on and off through the rest of this session. We've got Fittipaldi doing trackside reporting. He is, I'll be honest, he's happy as a clam out there watching those cars go by. What happened to Max? Max, he didn't crash. He lost grip on the back wheel and lost his back grip on I believe turn three, but recovered the car. Went onto the grass, came off. He'd be fine. Yeah, so Avoid was saying that De Vries will be the reserve driver when Watson races for the title in Japan, which will be the Mexican Grand Prix. He's saying a famous Dutch driver that would probably be Max. He's friends with that's again Max, and talked to De Vries, which they have talked. He is still so De Vries may have been sacked from his role, but still he is still basically under contract. Good question. Why is Liam Lawson and Snowden not the same color? Um, that's a good question. They look like they have been fixed. Yeah, they have the same. They have the same color. I'm not sure what's going on. Um, he is in because he's not one of the normal 20 on the grid. He's showing up in the format when a reserve driver, when another driver, just literally just now fixed. Okay, but his name is showing up in all caps because he's not the normal driver. Um, Sean's asking, is Sainz getting replaced? That was yesterday. Sportsman drove for Sainz in FP1 for the new rookie driver requirements that every team has to go. So Lawson right now is in a replacement role. So he's right now in see L Lawson as opposed to as the other driver. He's not one of the normal 20. We've got 20 minutes left in this session right now, and looks like people are back on track. And it is a mix of wets and intermediates. Norris has gotten now P1. The P2, P3, Leclerc and Verstappen are not on track right now, but Norris does a 125.086. Again, yesterday we were talking about 14 seconds, 13 and a half seconds faster in FP2. Logan Sargent radio is going, I have no grip. No one has any grip in this session apparently. So Just looking through right now. Oscar's now gone P3 with a 125.824. Perez has done a 126. Bottas is a 126.82. So Perez is a 126.397. And Albon's done a 127.149. Sargent's done a 127.953. So like literally like a tenth separates P6 through P10. Another tenth separates, literally P1 through P5. Yeah, so we're talking like seconds and tenths separating our stuff right now. If you like this stream so far, 281 have done so now. It does help us with the YouTube algorithm because God knows what they're doing behind the scenes at Google. If you subscribe, you can also click that bell and get notifications when we go live for sessions such as this. We do basically free practice. We do the sprint quali and the sprint race, quali, and we had a unstable camera there for a second, and we do the race itself. Ryan will be back. For quali and for the race. You guys are talking about Stroll being better at tennis than he is at F1. That I do not know. F1 Clip says you sound like Zach Brown. Thank you. I'm an American, and so is Zach. So that may be what you're talking about. I don't know where Zach comes from. I'm from the Northeast, from the New England area, not Boston. I come from south of Boston per se. And the problem is, particularly linguistically, there is a lot. You go 10, 15 miles in one direction, and you get a different accent. So my accent comes from not the south of Boston, but not the Providence or Cranston area. That's a different like I'm from a different area. Who is Lawson? Lawson is the reserve driver for Red Bull. The reserve driver, as someone said. He is the replacement for, and I believe that is Alonso taking the back roads around turn one. He's the replacement for Daniel Ricciardo after he broke his hand yesterday. He is one of the juniors in the Red Bull system. Last year he was in F2, finished third that season in F2, and then this year he's racing in Super Formula, which is Japan's open wheel racing system, which is similar to the F1. To what I understand, it's open wheel racing. So IndyCar is another equivalent to what we're talking about here. So right now, as I've been talking, Norris has gone P1, Piastri's gone P2, Perez and Verstappen have gone P3, P4, Russell P5. The only ones who are not on track, Zhou obviously, Magnussen obviously, and Gasly. Gasly is the only one who's actually in the pits. No one is coming back in the pit. So everyone's out or, either have crashed out or have gone or out on track. Perez has gone P2 ahead of Piastri. We'll see how Oscar, he's finishing a lap right now. Oscar he jumps back to P2. He has the fastest second sector. So it looks like the track, it's not as wet as it was previously, but we're still on intermediates. My voice is getting delayed. Well, it is. Please understand that basically I'm watching a stream and reacting to that, which is a few seconds behind. And then I'm also looking at the YouTube stream. So basically I'm getting data from them. It's bouncing back across the internet, back to YouTube, back to you. So there's going to be a few seconds. There's a few seconds of delay from when I'm responding to something to when you're actually hearing it. I also am starting and stopping today because I'm the only one here right now. Alonso's gone P4, 124.786. See what else. Russell's gone P5, 125.162. Yeah, it looks like everyone's taking the detour to turn one at this point. So he's coming down. He's doing a flying lap. This doesn't. Well, he's. Ooh. Oh, he hits the Tecpo barrier. Yeah, he hits the barrier. Does he back up? Backs up. Oh no, Liam Lawson's turned. He's been turned around. Oh, he spun and he stopped on the track. So this is definitely a red flag. So Ocon hit the barrier is okay. Lawson has been spun around. We'll see see what happens next. This is he's okay. Um, so he has turned himself around and he's back on track, moving around. He probably stopped because it wasn't safe for him to. He did probably because he was in a position where it wasn't safe to turn around. So this red flag session is gonna be short because basically Lawson was able to move. He's now coming into the pits right now, and we'll see. I'm taking a look at what happened to Lawson. He's coming around. Oh, he did. His wing did hit the barrier. How bad did he tap it though? Another replay from the onboard from his perspective, and he was going into the DRS zone, and he taps the barrier. Looking at his wing, it doesn't look like he's got wing damage, but they'll check it out. We've got 10 minutes left in the session. Don't know when we will go back to a green flag, or if we. How many red flags until we get to the end of this? It's not how many. It's when the red flag comes out. If we go green flag in like a minute or two. Cars are still coming back into the pits. It's if we get back on track in the next 2 or 3 minutes, it'll go back. Okay, race control. So it was in 121, so another minute or so. So we will be back to green flag shortly, with about 8.5 minutes to go in this session. What is Alpine doing? Who knows at this point? We've got about 293 likes so far. If you guys haven't liked the stream, go right ahead. We're back to green flag. Almost. We're almost back to green flag. I think Perez is out front of the line, which is unusual because usually Williams that they usually get out there right away. NBN Domino's says, does this count as Ricardo giving up his seat as a practice session to a junior driver? No, it does not, as I understand, because these happen in FP1. I don't believe that is the case because basically Lawson's going to race. My understanding is it's an FP1 scenario, but it's something that could. I have to go back and look at the rules. It could be that this is. It could be. But definitely Lawson's going to be racing next weekend. Yeah, he's going to be racing next weekend, obviously. So if this doesn't count, next week will count towards that. I know that the qualification is that driver has less than 2 races in F1 to qualify. So basically, next week would qualify if this week doesn't qualify automatically. Oh no, that was Max out front. Huh. So Max is on track right now. Perez is on his out lap. Gasly, Russell, Verstappen, Albon, Bottas, Sainz, Sargent, Hamilton, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, and Gasly are all out on outlaps right now. Lawson's on an outlap. So, he tapped the barrier, but no damage apparently to the car. We've got about 7 minutes left in this session right now. Again, you listen to the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. This is Grash talking to you, giving you commentary of this ugly, horrible, no good day where Lawson has caused a red flag. Magnussen has caused a red flag. Joe has caused a red flag. My streak is now 6. Yellow flag. Oh no, who's another car has spun? Who's spun? In sector 1, obviously. Who is this? This is one of the Ferraris again. That's taking a detour around turn 1. Yeah, Leclerc. It looks like he hit the barrier, tapped the barrier, backed up, which is what gave us the yellow flag. Not yeah. If you're a Ferrari fan, I am sorry. If you're Matt Gallagher, this is hilarious. Yeah, no, I mean, I watch the reactions of Matt Gallagher after the fact to the suffering of Ferrari, and I feel for all the Tifosi, sorta, sometimes. Verstappen has gone P1 with a 122.758, purple across the entire board. We have been maxed. That's a good phrase. We have been maxed. I'm going to be stealing that. Josh Tyler, you have one chat for this session. So right now we've got Verstappen P1, we've got Norris, Piastri, Russell, Perez, Alonso, Albon, Bottas, Sainz. Hamilton just jumps to P8. That's our top 10. Russell on a fast lap. He's done a fastest sector 1, about more than a tenth faster than Verstappen. He's in his sector 2. He has some subsectors that are fast. Gasly is a fast subsector, so he's someone to keep an eye on. So Russell and Gasly on fast laps at the moment. Sainz on a fast lap. Russell does improve his time in sector 2. Perez on a fast lap is right now a fastest subsector. Bottas is the fastest sector 1. Did so by basically improving on all his times, but not necessarily being the best of any particular subsector, it looks like. Russell's going to jump to P2 with fastest sector 3 with a 122.779. We've got Fittipaldi sitting around turn 13. Who is Perez still on his lap? Leclerc has jumped to P5. Perez has jumped to P4. So that pushes Leclerc to P6. Everyone right now is pretty much improving on their times. Like Bottas is 7th with 124. Sainz is a 124.5. Sainz is a 124.566. Sargent P12 at a 124.8. Hulkenberg did a 125.3. Sono did a 125.4. That's P15. Ocon did a 126.5. P17. Stroll P16 at a 125.5. Verstappen improving on his times. Purple across the board. We have been maxed once again. Lawson improving on his times. He's doing a 126.9. We've got 2.5 minutes left in this session right now. If you guys have, again, we talked about subscribing, and you can also join the channel. That will give you some perks. There are some special emojis. Obviously, with the red flags, we haven't been able to promote those as much as we can. You get a nice star badge in front of your name, like Jose, Paula. When I meow, are the ones who just chatted, who are part of the channel. Basically, they're throwing basically a few bucks each month to the channel to help us operate. 2 minutes left to go. Rip Hamilton, what? Just did a 123.5. Well, I'm not sure why you're doing Rip. He hasn't binned it yet this session. George on fire. George is P2. Norris just jumped to a P3, 123.1. Albon is now P7 with a 123.8. Sonoda jumps to P6, 123.5. He is 0.05 faster than Hamilton. Being slower, less. We're in the mount. Yeah, slower than usual. Max Huntington slower than usual. Max is out there doing another flying lap. Oscar's doing a flying lap. So we'll see. We got dueling flying lap right now. Oscar finishes lap at P3 with a 122.892. Fastest sector 2, but Max hasn't finished sector 2. He improved in some of the sectors, but not all of them. 20 seconds left to go in this session. Max did not improve in a sector 2. He improved in some areas, but not the whole sector. Granted, he did it at 127. That's faster than Russell did at 128. I'm trying to think. Like Bottas improved. His best was a 128.3. So he's still doing significantly much faster. He's going to come in at a 125.9. To 9. Not a huge improvement. And that's going to cars are now crossing the line for their final laps. Let's see, Piastri's just about to cross the line. Lazo jumps to P3 with a 122.634. Oscar's still on his final lap. See how he's coming in. He's improved in sector 1, not so much in sector 2. Perez still on his final lap. Oscar's going to jump to P4. Perez right now P9 on his final lap. Hamilton on his final lap as well. Albon's going to jump to P4 while 122.7. Hulkenberg goes to P15. Perez jumps to P13, 122. Hamilton jumps to P5, 122.7. Perez, a whole second off of Verstappen, though we're in the wets. Russell is only almost 0.4 of a second, 0.4 of a second behind Max. D-Mad's asking, who is Lawson? Lawson was the reserve driver. He's now the driver. He's the reserve driver for Red Bull. He is in for a injured Daniel Ricciardo. Yesterday in free practice 2, he went into the wall instead of plowing into his fellow Aussie Oscar. And the result, he held onto his steering wheel when he hit the wall and injured his hand. He's out for. We expect him to be out 4 weeks minimum. So he's out for this race. He'll be out for next race. We'll see how he progresses from that point on. And yeah, oh wow, we're showing a lot of from those final laps. Albon, Hamilton slipping around, losing their back end for a little bit, but not significantly enough to lose control of the car. And we're now doing practice starts off the start line now. So here we go. We are now done with our session. Verstappen is P1, Russell is P2, Perez P3, Alonso P4, Hamilton P5, Albon P6, Piastri P7, Bottas P8, Leclerc P9, and Norris P10. Zhou and Magnussen crashed out in this session. We would get another red flag from Lawson when he turned around and tapped the barrier, but we got a red flag because it should have just stayed yellow. He was able to, when the red flag came out, he was able to continue and flip around the car and get back to the pits on his own power. So given how we were, I understand why we threw a red flag. He was stopped on track, and so there was no indication that he was going to be able to. He was indication he was going to flip around. So, time 8:00. So in about 2.5 hours, we will have qualification. We're looking at not as much rain. Like the track, it rained before this session going into the session, practice 3. It looks like that the rain is going to be spotty on and off, but more like a 20% chance of rain as we get to qualification. So it will likely be, we'll see basically a drier, it's very likely that we could just see a drier track for quali. Don't hold my word to it, though. The rain is unpredictable right now. So again, we'll have quali starting in about 2.5 hours. We will be back live in about 2 hours. There'll be about, as usual, there's music before we start our stream. I want to thank everyone who's come. Again, this is Grash talking to you, doing commentary for you. I want to thank all of you here. All of you who survived this. This is not the worst session I've done, but it's in contention of the top 5, top 3 sessions that we've had this year. So again, this is the Racing 60 YouTube channel, and this is our coverage of the through practice 3 for the Dutch Grand Prix. I will see you again. I'll be in chat in about when we get back on the air. I'll be in chat. Ryan will be doing commentary for quali and for the race tomorrow. So I will see you guys soon. Stay safe. If it's raining, stay dry. Don't bin your car on the wall. And I will see you all soon. Thank you, everyone. I'm out.